Have you guys ever, I don't know what is the best way to phrase this. Have you guys ever noticed that narcissists appear to be on top of the game, on top of their game, only for you to realize that they never had any game at all? You know, there was never any game. I don't care if the narcissist is the member of parliament. I don't care if they are which professional. I don't care which CEO. I do not care what status. You see, when we're talking about narcissistic abuse, we're not talking about status. It has nothing to do with status. It has everything to do with narcissism itself. Okay, they never had any game at all. So he was there playing the game. He was thinking that, oh, these guys, they know what they are doing. They are on top of things. They will show you that, we can do this, we can do that, and all that stuff. And you will believe it. Sometimes you're going to believe. You are usually going to think that, oh, you may want even to stand with them. You may think that there was ever anything going on, only for you to realize that there was never any game at all. He was the one. He was the goat the whole time. You have always been the goat the entire time. But you see, the thing is, these people, they can see and they know your greatness. They know it even before you know it. You know, it happened to me. This narcissist used to tell me that, you don't even know who you are, because a lot of empaths, the reason why you end up getting trapped is because these people know that you do not know your power. You do not know who you are. You do not know your power. You do not know what you're capable of. So you normally get trapped. And these people who are with you, they know who you are. So you are the unawakened one, okay? For you to lose your power to a narcissistic individual, there's some things they will do. What are some of those? This will be according to my experience, what I've seen. Normally, from the beginning, they are going to make you look like you're stupid. So if, for example, it's a narcissistic parent, you might hear those words often. Oh, you silly, stupid. You know, there are some words I used to hear, bastardy. I don't even know that word they still exists. Guys, let me know in the comment section below. Does that word still exist? Bastard, something bastard. And we all understand who is a bastard. Back in the days, I didn't know who was a bastard. You stupid. What is wrong with you? Look at all your friends. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're not serious. You know? So they'll be telling you a lot of things. And they are going to make you look like or feel like there has always been something wrong with you. I can tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Most of the times you're going to realize that you have always been the goat. One day you're going to wake up and you leave those people. you are going to realize you have been the power this whole time. You've never been stupid from day one, you know? You have never been stupid. You have never been crazy. You have never been that person that they always said that you was, you know? You know, when you're dealing with a dysfunctional person, part of the game is to take your power away from you. That is part of the game, is to take your power away from you. But to take your power away from you, they have got to gaslight you. So they have got to tell you things or make you believe or think a certain way about yourself. Are you guys following? Is how this whole thing works. So in most of the times, you are going to see the conversations that you will be having. They are always going to be aimed at invalidating you, you know? Most of the conversations you will be having will be aimed at invalidating you. They will be aimed at making you play small. So it's why sometimes you even see in the pictures, when you guys are taking pictures, for some reason they want to be the ones on the front of the picture, you know? I want you guys to pay attention to those group photos, maybe two or more people. You're going to see they are the ones who are going to be on the top. They are going to be in the front of the picture. So they always want you to be behind them. Because you see, these people do not understand and they cannot properly understand that they are dysfunctional. They do not know there's anything wrong with them. Okay? So gaslighting, those words you hear, gaslighting, it's all in your head. You know, this whole thing you're thinking about is all in your head. So me, I've grown up asking questions. I've always wanted to know the details. I've always wanted to know all the small details. I've always asked the questions. So what does this mean? Can you explain this? What does that mean? I've always been curious. There is some people who don't like to ask questions, but me, as I know myself, I've always asked questions. When I really wanted to know something, I would ask. So can you explain this? What about this? What about that? Please explain more. And I could say almost 90 90% of the time I was gaslit, you know. Oh, don't think too much. You know, you're very sensitive. You're overthinking things. Let it go. You think too much. You don't really want to know the truth. All those kind of things, you know. So I would find out that most of the things that I really desperately wanted to know, I wasn't going to know. So if a person who is around those people and they tell you things like, oh, you know, you're stupid, it's not worth it. You see, a lot of times we do not understand that it is the power that we give these people that makes them exist. What is the best way that I can say this? It is the power that we have always given those people that has made them important exist. When you do snatch that power away from them, they are no more. Okay? When you snatch the power away from them, they are not there. They don't exist. Are you guys following? So the time when you wake up one day and you leave those people, you're going to see the little child you've always been dealing with, the little vulnerable child that you've always been dealing with that you didn't even know. And you realize that you didn't have anything to do with these people. You never needed them, you know. You will see how vulnerable that narcissistic parent is without you, without your power. How vulnerable that ex of yours is. Because now you can see the real shell, you know. Before there was hiding behind the shell, but now you can see the shell. The veil. You can see beyond the veil. And you realize that you never needed these people. They have always needed you the whole time. But they did not want to show you that they needed you. It's how it has always been. Now, when I'm doing these videos, I'm helping you to understand. It's not personal. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking from the healed perspective. I've done healing on myself. It has been very intense, but I would finally understand it's not personal. Okay? It is you who thought that it was personal because you didn't know what was going on, you know? So the reactions that you used to give when they push your buttons and they do this, oh, you know, why are you doing this? And they start laughing behind your back. It wasn't personal. He was just dealing with a demon, okay? He was dealing with a demon. So the moment you start to wake up and you realize that the reason why these demons have oppressed you over the years, you start to see what is going on. The oppression you've had over the years, you will start to understand that they never had power. They have never had power from the beginning. They have never had any power to begin with. You know? The power that they had was the power you gave them. Okay? So it was the power that you gave to them. But them on their own, they had none. Okay? Let me give you something to look at. Did you guys know some of these people even need you to walk with them to see the doctor? Did you know that some of them even need you to walk with them to go for a hospital appointment? So sometimes they're like, oh, you know, I'm going to see the doctor. Can you walk with me and this and this? Why don't you go alone? Because they're afraid. They think that when they go to the doctor, they're not going to come back alone. They're not going to come back alive. So they think that, oh, maybe they go to the doctor and they are going to pass away. A lot of nurses, they fear hospitals. They work in hospitals when they're on the other side, on the receiving side of the energy. Let's say, for example, if they are the workers, they like to be there when they're the workers. But they don't want to be there when they are the patients. Are you guys following? They do not want to be there when they are the patients. They want to be there when they are the ones who are working, because they are the ones who are now on the other side of, you know, they're the ones making the choices. You sit down there, you wait, you stand in the line, and you do this, you know, those kind of things. But when they're the patients, they can't. They cannot handle being a patient because they are very vulnerable. And most of the cases, they have that unconscious belief or feeling they could not leave that hospital alive. So it's why they don't like hospitals. Narcissistic abuse is not personal, you know. The reason why they hate you is because, especially the empaths, you know, other regular people, yes, okay, they may hate different individuals and whatever, but they hate you because, you know, you have a completely different energy. There is something they want to have, they want to be. There's that power that you have that you don't have to explain anything, you don't have to prove anything. It's just a natural thing you have got inside you, and they don't have that. They have to fake their way all the way to get that. They have to put on a certain mask to get that validation. They have to put on a certain mask to get some form of attention. Those people can spend almost 1 hour doing makeup just to go to the grocery stores. They are preparing for 1 hour. I'm not even talking about, okay, maybe including the shower and everything, but you know, they're going to shower if necessary. They're going to find the best clothes and they're going to try different shoes. Which makeup can I use? How will people feel when I use this makeup? How will people feel when when I put this dress? They are going to, what do they call it? Uh, what is that word called? Rehearse. They are going to rehearse how they are going to present themselves when they're just going to the grocery stores. So is how you know that you're dealing with something fake. Something is original. It has never been there. It wasn't there in the for starters, you know. So in every form of narcissistic individual entanglement you might have been, there's things that you have got to understand. The power you gave those people is what kept them alive. So they want to feel like they're the bosses in the, you know, they're the kings. They like to call themselves these kings and the bosses and the queens, that kind of stuff. You know, they are the boss, they are the king, they are the queen. So, and they are going to do anything they can, whatever it takes to make sure everybody will see them as a king, as a boss. But the moment you stop giving them that power, you're going to see that little vulnerable man or woman you've always thought that was so powerful. So this is what this thing was. Look at Saddam. What is that? The Libyan leader. You know, everybody feared that person. The whole world was terrified of Libya, the Libyan leader. But in his last days, he was pulled out of a cave, and you could see how terrified he was that his time had come. Finally, you know. Now I'm not a politician, so I cannot go into all those details and everything. I don't really like those games of politics because it's all narcissistic and everything. But we all understand that the people that we used to think they was powerful, at the end of their reign, they was pulled out of a cave. You know, they was pulled out of the cave, and you could see how terrified they were when they realized it was all gone, it was all over. A narcissist can can even analyze themselves. The moment they realize that it's over, it's game over, they can analyze themselves. Now I'm not saying everybody would analyze themselves as a narcissist. They can analyze themselves. The victims of abuse also sometimes they commit suicide. It happens. But the narcissist is capable. The moment they realize that they have come to the end of the cliff, they are going to jump, and they are going to blame somebody else for them jumping over the cliff. They may write a note and they say it was because of their wife, this, and it was because of this. But it's all been them. It's a game. So a narcissist can they only have the power when you give it to them. When you snatch when you snatch the power away from them, they are nobody. They are nobody. It doesn't matter what is their status. You are going to see the shell that you've always been dealing with from the beginning. So let us know what you think about the video, guys. You guys know I'd love and appreciate the support. You can book a session, you may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's Amos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.